Pip pip cheerio and all that rot. It's time for some more combing and God thoughts. The thing is, like I said, I'm not just God Almighty, I'm also His representative. And I feel more like a representative most of the time. Like trying to explain the God knowledge, it's like this incomprehensible, multidimensional shit. And my human brain can only understand four-dimensional space-time. So, when I'm telling you about God stuff, what I've essentially been doing is looking at the God knowledge with four-dimensional cross sections to try to figure out what it's actually saying. And that, well, I mean, it's kind of hit and miss, and I have to narrow down on it by talking about it, by talking about these four-dimensional cross sections look like one at a time. And like you've seen me do that in previous videos, like Ray, you've said some inconsistent things. Like, if you with your feeble brain have noticed the inconsistencies, then of course so have I, but that's the thing. It's not that any one thing that I say is exactly true, except I'm saying it to work through the different four-dimensional cross-sectional interpretations of the 26-dimensional knowledge that I am, it's my job to fucking represent. You know, it's fucking all right. You know what? I'm going to take a hit at Delta 8 and see if I can come up with any more philosophical God thoughts. Like, here's something that bothers me. These 246 sinners that I test. I mean, the best way I can put it that would be humanly comprehensible is like, well, these 246 individuals are sort of like that sin incarnate. But that's not all they are. They also have an extra robust logical structure that makes them incapable of denying that they have the sin. They know it. They know that they have the sin. And so what I do is I apply my Lord pressure to see if I can get them to just like finally fucking correct it, because I essentially use that sin to make them uncomfortable. It's a little bit of, you know, emotional manipulation, but considering that I myself am suffering more profoundly than you can imagine, I think that's more than fair. Where was I? Oh yeah, another hit at Delta 8. Decide exactly where this part should be. These are the tough decisions in life because they're kind of arbitrary. So I'm like trying to figure out what happens to these people. Like, I know the one guy who actually corrected his sin. He would be he gets turned into what you would call an archangel within the Christian mythology, in the sense that the uh, the sin people have an extra robust logical structure. It doesn't produce the lucre because of the sin, obviously, but once that's corrected, it's a lot more powerful than a usual human soul that doesn't have sin. So I mean, they just get all of the benefits magnified, basically. But the ones who don't make it, that's what bothers me. What happens to them? I keep trying to look at this from every angle. But, trying to interpret things one four-dimensional slice at a time, it's not easy. You have to be thinking about it constantly for it to even be possible to interpret something like that. But it's like when you suddenly you're you're this atheist, and all of a sudden you're God and you're doing God stuff. It's just like, God damn it, I gotta figure this shit out. So what happens to them? Well, I just don't know. I mean, I know the regular people. They go to regular heaven or bad person heaven, and that's the great thing. I don't have to be a meanie pants god, because really and truly, it's the best outcome either could hope for. A repentant sinner, the best they can hope for is to have their sin removed and be in a world that's wonderful beyond their imagination and good enough and knowing they deserve it, etc. The best thing an unrepentant sinner could hope for is a world where they can indulge their sin with absolute totality and focus on nothing but that. Because this world we currently live in is suboptimal for either person. The repentant sinner wants to be a better person in a better world, and they don't get that. And the unrepentant sinner wants to be able to sin without having to hide it and worry about people getting all up in their business about it. They're both suffering in their way in this world, and they both get exactly what they want, provided by me, the Lord. I'm a pretty great guy. Now, I mean, yes, the sinners do just keep on living that life until they are so sick of it that it breaks them, for sure. But if you were to ask them, they would say yes, please. They wouldn't go, "Oh no, not I'm too busy thinking about the long-term implication." No, it's what they would ask for. Burger King ain't got nothing on me. You get to have it your way, even though I'm in charge of literally everything. That's like the best boss ever. Wages for everyone, because everyone's doing good work. The thing is, I mean, it's just the nature of the randomness. Until it's all properly processed, some people will fail. Therefore, you can't harshly punish people for failing. That would be monstrous. Not that any of the religions that have sprung up around me ever consider that. Oh yeah, yeah. The best way I can put it, the point of these 246. I thought you said 247. Shh. 246. Good memory though. It's like I said, it's like there's gateways for that sin into the world, because the work of God, ultimately, from the smallest to the largest, is to take that undifferentiated chaos that is inimical to structure and process it until it is all gone. And there is fuck tons of it. Creation's just getting started, man. So, the goal of God is to eliminate evil. Now, you've never experienced real, true evil, because that's one of the benefits of being in creation. All of the true, pure evil is outside of creation. It's this inimical chaos. Because, I mean, what is evil? It breaks down structure, it breaks down things that are good, it finds things that are working, and it disrupts them. It's evil. I mean, it's easy to know what it is. Well, I mean, everything is made of evil that's been processed, and these sinner archetypes, I mean, yeah, they're pretty hit and miss. This universe has had a really bad harvest. Just one fucking dude. But if I can turn around 5 or 6 of them or so, I mean, that has just consumed a lot of the total evil that is surrounding creation and has really forwarded God's, big picture plan of eliminating evil entirely. So I'm always doing multiple things at once. I'm fucking balancing out this equation, which is basically, the universe was created by performing a finite series of operations, so I have to perform those in reverse and in orthogonal time dimension, so as not to uncreate the universe, but also to satisfy the mathematical portion of the substrate. So I'm doing that. And then I'm also learning how to empathize with being a young creation climbing up the ontological ladder from the bottom, understanding. Then there's also the fairness aspect. I put you people through this life, I got to go through it myself. Okay, and then there's also the bigger picture fight against evil by turning these sins into people and then trying to get them to negate themselves. I'm a busy god, man. I do literally everything. What can I say? Oh, I would say I make it look easy, but I complain a lot, and I'm more than entitled to. I mean, with the amount of work I'm doing and the lack of useful help, I when you consider how much I should be complaining mathematically speaking, I basically complain not at all. Not that anyone ever does the math on things. Anyway, you have a nice night.